me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
I think the Parks and Rec community is so busy that sometimes we kind of forget, like, we should show off a little bit. It's okay to kind of like be proud of the things that we've built. The photography is simple, but also like how you describe a facility. Like, what is the experience when you walk up to the facility? Those are all different things that you are selling as a service, a product to your customers, who are the residents. The more professional your software booking experience is too, the more likely people want to return and come back.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, live from the 2025 NRPA Conference. Today we're joined by Courtney Sung from Rec Technologies, a company redefining how cities connect residents to recreation through smarter, simpler software. Courtney shares how her team is bringing a two-click experience to parks and recreation, making it as easy to sign up for summer camp as ordering lunch online. She also drops some gold marketing advice, from using smart brevity to tell your story, to showing off your facilities with professional photos that say 1,000 words. And we dive into a bigger message: why parks and recreation isn't a luxury, it's essential. It's health, safety, and community. Stick around. This is an episode that proves technology and storytelling can help every city shine. Let's dive in.
All right, this is Craig LeBlanc again with the Daily Parks and Rec Show, live with Courtney Sung with Rec Technologies. How is your convention going so far, Courtney?
Oh, Craig, it's been really fun. It's my first NRPA, so it's definitely been a whirlwind of activity, but it's been so great to meet all these people in person, especially since I've been only seeing them on Zoom or other phone calls. So It's just a totally different experience in person.
Yeah, so how was it walking into this big convention center with all the playgrounds and structures and everything? It's a little bit overwhelming.
It's like the best. I used to work in public transit, actually, so I'm used to seeing like buses and ticket holders and whatnot. So seeing playgrounds where people get to, experience access to recreation is just super cool.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs are very cool.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
So Courtney is a fellow marketer, and I know one thing about Parks and Recreation, we would like to get better at telling our story and getting our story out there. And so maybe what's some advice we can give to somebody that's in charge of getting the word out about special events or services that they offer? If you're thinking from a marketing lens, what are some 101 lessons we can throw out there?
Yeah, 101 lessons. We actually had a great, my CEO gave a great talk yesterday on branding and sort of building your brand yesterday. So some key takeaways from that I experienced. One person talked about smart brevity. It's this concept of telling your story, but very short, very effective. Don't make it too complicated. What's the one point that you can get across? Shane from the Reckless podcast, he talked about getting professional photos. It's surprising how much a photo can really capture happy family experiencing the park together.
Yes.
Really tell that story to your council in a way that a report never really could. We also talked a lot about personalized marketing. So, can you segment out your email lists? I think email is still really effective for a lot of parks and rec departments. So let's not ignore that channel. But can you target the parents with specific information that they need to know? Is that different than your senior population? I think there's a few things we can do looking at the data to be a little bit more strategic and make an even bigger impact with the marketing that you have.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your company. What does Rec Technologies do?
So we are modern recreation software that both your residents and admins will love. We've been around for about 4 years. So we got started in San Francisco. Our co-founders met at Uber and had a hard time booking pickleball courts in San Francisco and said, why is our technology so much easier to order food than it is to book a public area? So they got started and it's been really fun. We're working with about 45 cities around the US, doing everything from programming registration, facility bookings, memberships, and even licensing some cowboy coaches, which is pretty cool.
Fantastic. And so what is something like basic registration? Obviously, that's something where you can just get people registered, get all their information and booking and stuff. But then what are some of the other, maybe we can go a little deeper dive into to what the software offers.
So I think the main sort of premise is your GovTech experience, or the way that residents experience your software, shouldn't be more complicated than the consumer applications they use in their everyday. So why is it easier to buy something on Amazon with like 2-click checkout than it is to sign up my kid for summer camp? So I think we're trying to apply those best practices and how to make it frictionless. What's the core information that you need to sign up? Can we actually not have an app? Because then people can just sign up on their phone. They don't have to wait to download something. We've really evaluated all those different steps to make it as simple and user-friendly as possible so that a senior can do it as easily as, a busy parent on their way to school pickup. So I think that's the program registration experience.
Right.
You know, Apple Pay is included, Google Pay. You don't have to find where your credit card is, write the check, drop it off in person. I think a lot of the customers that we've worked with had paper applications. You know, they were only accepting payments in person. It provided a lot of friction. So we're trying to really reduce that friction so that you can spend time on the actual programming and the facilities themselves. And then the software just actually can increase access and make more people sign up for your programs.
Now, any other functionality or tools that y'all offer or maybe developing or working on?
Yeah, so the facility booking is really awesome. We've got some instant book. If you think about Airbnb, you see it's a very visual page. You can see you've got beautiful facilities. Like, let's show them off.
Right.
So we do great photography, put all the amenities on there. You can filter and search really intuitively. It's not just a wall of text. And so we've seen folks, I think, increase like 30-40% bookings after installing that. We also do these cool signs that link to a digital calendar. So you walk up to a port, you don't know if it's busy, you don't know if someone's using that space. You can actually scan it, check it out, and actually increase access, utilization of that facility. So that's been really awesome. We're working with San Francisco on all of their tennis and pickleball courts. We do about 800 reservations a week. It's very active.
Oh, wow.
And people are just discovering more and more ways to recreate, which I think is cool. We also do memberships. And like I said, the last piece is we've been licensing informal instructors. So those people who are already teaching classes, maybe kind of illicitly on your municipal courts or in the park, teaching that HIT boot camp class. We're actually background checking them, licensing them, and helping do a rev share on municipal facilities so that everyone kind of gets a win-win.
Right. You know, I remember watching a Y Combinator episode that they had online, and the Airbnb founder came on there and something as simple as just hiring a professional photographer, to your earlier point, how important that is to show off your facilities.
Yes.
It's why when we get on Airbnb, maybe your little iPhone, very dimly lit picture of your gorgeous den is not good enough to really sell it. And so, having someone on there to take professional, photography on your aquatic center or on the facilities they're going to be renting out is critical. Anything else to be said on that?
I think it's just folks that I think the Parks and Rec community is so busy that sometimes we kind of forget, like, we should show off a little bit. It's okay to kind of like be proud of the things that we've built. And so I think the photography is simple, but also like how you describe a facility. Like, what is the experience when you walk up to the facility? Those are all different things that you are selling as a service, a product to your customers who are the residents. And so the more professional your software booking experience is too, the more likely people want to return and come back.
Right. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, because you got to, like you said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And sometimes just a really good picture can communicate way more than anything else that you can do.
Well, you don't want people to try to book once. It's really frustrating. They couldn't select the right thing and then they drop out and then they never want to do that experience again. We want to avoid that. Like, we want to make it so straightforward.
Yeah. So how is it serving Parks and Recreation? Is this your first time working in or with Parks and Rec community?
My first time working with the Parks and Rec community, but not my first time working with local government. Background, like I said, it's in urban planning. I used to work in public transportation. So it's been such a treat actually working with recreation. Recreation folks are fun. Everyone you meet is so friendly. They got the camp counselor vibe going on. They're like your coach. I did a lot of recreational sports growing up as well. So it's been
fantastic,
really fun to just sort of like be around that space and that energy. And I think it's such a community service oriented group of people that you can't ask for a better audience.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to get your feedback on this little short film that we made for the community.
Sure.
Unfortunately, Parks and Recreation was on the chopping block during COVID as a non-essential service. And so we're really trying to flip that script and showcase how important Parks and Rec is to building the community, especially during tough times, and certainly not part of your city that you want to cut their budget.
Definitely not.
So I'll play this and then we'll get your feedback on it and let us know how good of a job we did, or maybe we can find some improvement here.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present. Parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety. A playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
All right, so from a fellow marketer, how do we do?
Wow, so cool. I mean, I think the topics nailed it right onto the sort of the themes. It's interesting coming from the planning background. Like, it seems to me Parks and Rec is one of the best amenities you can actually sell for your city. It's like why people want to live there, maybe in addition to schools, right? Like, people come there because they know that they can take their kids to swim lessons, that they have all these municipal services that are so great. I think there's a lot of other more contentious public services out there, but Parks and Recreation really feels like kind of a slam dunk. So I think telling the story of how it's an essential service. I met some folks yesterday who are doing therapeutic recreation. They're helping kids with learning disabilities, people who have physical disabilities, like that stuff that you can't get everywhere. And if your city or your town can provide that service, that's huge. I think that's such a great story to tell.
Yeah. Now, as far as marketing and like, is there anything we can do as far as creating videos, you think, for this industry? Any other ideas that you see, any gaps as far as getting the word out on special events? And that's another thing I didn't know, if do y'all do anything for special events? Are y'all working on anything for that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Folks definitely run special events on our platform. I know the city of Torrance does like a turkey trot 5K every year. We've got some sort of interesting ticketing capabilities there. So definitely can do that. I think in terms of videos and marketing, I've seen some really clever marketing for, like I said, in the public transit space where you like interview riders at the stop and you kind of like chart out their commute and their daily experience. And I feel like we could do a lot more to tell the stories of individuals. Like, here's the senior who comes to the senior center every day to do Tai Chi, and here's what they've gotten, and like just a little bit more of that personal story, that personal touch. Because like, again, I feel like we kind of get trapped in the numbers. Oh, I got to find that one stat for council, but it's actually like that individual story that's going to make all the difference. Or we were talking about getting like letters written from your constituents. Is there a way to actually like make that a little bit easier? Not everyone's going to go to a council meeting. How can you get that positive feedback back up?
Oh, Courtney, you give me some great ideas. I think I'm going to take some of this stuff and go into these senior centers and aquatic centers.
Exactly. Think about it. It's like the person who shows up every day for bingo, right? Like, let's talk to them. Why are they there?
Yes, fantastic. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing us with what your company does. And really hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's convention.
Thanks, Craig.
All right, take care.
At DPRS Media Co, we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.